Hello everyone, hola, welcome to lesson 17, reflexive verbs. On this lesson we're going to discuss the past tense. Last week we went over the present tense using the reflexive verbs. So let's go ahead and get started. So just like the past tense that we went over before, the endings are going to still stay the same on the end of the verbs. So for the AR verbs, you have the haste, o, amos, aron. That's what I put in bold print here for you to see. So you have the haste, o, amos, aron. And if you remember, those are still paired with the pronouns. So, for example, instead of saying yo bañé, you'll have to say me bañé, which would be I bathed in the past tense. I bathed myself, So if you have me bañé, I bathed myself in the past tense, right? So just imagine the ed at the end of bathe. Te bañaste. Did you bathe yourself? Te bañaste? Did you bathe yourself? So remember that you will not use yo bañé or tú bañaste. And why won't you use the regular pronouns? Simply because these are reflexive verbs. So you have to use the reflexive pronouns. What are the reflexive pronouns? Those are the me, te, se, nos, and se. Exactamente. Okay? So here we have me bañé. I bathed myself. Te bañaste. Did you bathe? Ella se bañó ayer. She bathed yesterday. Nos bañamos anoche. We bathed last night. Se bañaron juntos. They bathed together. So if I want to say like my daughters, for example, they bathed together. Mis hijas se bañaron juntos. Or actually they're female, so se bañaron juntas. So there is a little small correction here with hands. This is supposed to be las manos, and I just caught on to this mistake now as I'm recording. So, me lavé las manos. Manos is feminine. It's one of those words that end in O, but it's still a feminine word. So, like las manos would be hands. Okay, so this is supposed to be me lavé las manos. I washed my hands. In the second sentence as well, take off te. You can just say lavaste la ropa. Did you wash the clothes? So that basically brings you back to what I said in the last lesson. So you have some verbs that can be used regularly or they can be used as a reflexive verb. So you can use it for either or. And ir is one of those verbs, to go, and you also can use it as irse, reflexive. And then you have lavar, which you also can use as lavarse. It just depends on how you're using it in the sentence. So, for example, when you say, I washed my hands, you're referring back to yourself, to oneself, so that makes the verb reflexive. So, therefore, you would have to say, me lavé las manos. I washed my hands. However, this second sentence here is a mistake. So you don't need to put te in front of lavaste because that's just going to be the regular verb. Did you wash clothes? Lavaste la ropa? Did you wash clothes? Okay? So, and also, ella se lavó el cabello. She washed her hair. That is correct. So you can use it that way because it's like she washed her hair. You're referring back to oneself, to herself. So we're going to play a little game here. We're going to guess the sentence in English. So I'm going to read it out loud in Spanish, of course. Me imaginé que eras feliz. ¿Te peinaste el cabello? ¿Ella se quedó con él? So take some time to figure out which verbs were used first. So for example, did I use the verb hablar in either of those three sentences? Did I use the verb peinarse? Did I use quedarse? Figure out the verb, try to guess that. In the meanwhile, we're going to move on to the next four sentences. ¿Te sentiste mal? Ya me puse la ropa. Me sentí feliz. Se preocuparon mucho. Now, hopefully you did the homework last week because you were supposed to practice and study some of these reflexive verbs. So the verbs that I'm using right now are a part of the list that I gave you to practice and study. So just match them up and let's go ahead and move on to see what the answer is. Me imaginé que eras feliz. I imagined that you were happy. ¿Te peinaste el cabello? Did you comb your hair? By the way, please don't say that to anyone, okay? Ella se quedó con él. She stayed with him. I don't know why I made that as a sentence when that's a question, but you get the point. ¿Te sentiste mal? Did you feel bad? Ya me puse la ropa. I already put on my clothes. Me sentí feliz. I felt happy. Se preocuparon mucho. They worried a lot. So go ahead and take a moment to write these down, write the examples down just like this, and make sure that you practice saying this in the voice recorder, say it out loud, repeat it out loud in English as you say it in Spanish, etc. Just make sure you utilize the voice recorder all through these lessons, okay? And also after you finish the lesson so you can get your practice in at home. And of course, you're going to need more time to write that down, so just go back and pause the video. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and guess some more sentences in English. Okay, me levanté muy temprano. ¿A qué hora te levantaste esta mañana? That's a question, so, ¿a qué hora te levantaste esta mañana? Ella se levantó a las 2 de la tarde. Se lavaron el carro el otro día. So let's take a moment to guess which verbs are being used, which reflexive verbs. Okay, now let's look at it in English. We have the me levanté muy temprano. I got up very early. And it's reflexive because it comes from the verb levantarse, which is to get oneself up, to get up, basically. So this sentence says, I got myself up very early. But you don't want to say myself. You don't want to interpret it that way because it won't make sense in English. But that's literally what it's saying because reflexive is referring back to oneself. Once again, I have to keep saying that because I don't want you all to forget or get confused. It's very easy to get confused with these reflexive verbs, okay? So I apologize if I'm being a little bit annoying by keep repeating refer back to oneself. That's because that's literally the definition, and we tend to forget that. I forget that sometimes when I'm speaking in Spanish and I'm trying to figure out this verb or whatever. Okay, moving on. The next sentence. ¿A qué hora te levantaste esta mañana? What time did you get up this morning? Basically, what time did you get yourself up this morning? Ella se levantó a las 2 de la tarde. She got up at 2 p.m. She got herself up at 2 p.m. Se lavaron el carro el otro día. They washed their car the other day. So that is supposed to say they washed their car because that will be referring back to themselves, right? So, or if you just wanted to say they washed the car, once again, you don't have to put se. You can just say lavaron el carro. Ellos lavaron el carro. They washed the car. Or if you want to make it reflexive, they washed their car, then you can put se lavaron el carro. Okay? So go ahead and take a moment to pause this and write these sentences down. We're going to move right along to the next part. So I put these sentences in English on the left-hand side because I want you to understand which verb goes in the sentence. So I want you to be able to tell me which one of these verbs matches up with the sentence. but I'm going to say the sentence in English. So, I felt bad. Which verb over here, which reflexive verb over here, is going to match up with the sentence? I felt bad. That's right. It's going to be sentirse. Sentirse. To feel. To feel oneself. They bathed last night. That's right. It's going to be bañarse. To bathe oneself. That's the reflexive verb that's going to match up with they bathed last night. You're going to use the verb bañarse. I combed my hair. Which one of these verbs over here is to comb? Peinarse. We felt really sad. We felt. That's right. We're going to use the verb sentirse. Why didn't you wash your hands? Why didn't you wash your hands? So which reflexive verb is that here? That's right. That's going to be lavarse. And last but not least, they stayed another night. Which one of these verbs over here that we haven't used yet? They stayed. That's going to come from the verb quedarse. Okay, so let's go ahead and translate this into Spanish. I felt bad. We already know that we're using the verb sentirse. So the conjugation would be me sentí mal. I felt bad. Me sentí mal. They bathed last night. AKA they bathed themselves last night. Se bañaron anoche. She imagined a lot of money. Ella se imaginó mucho dinero. I combed my hair. Me peiné el cabello. Or you can say me peiné el pelo. El pelo and el cabello both mean hair. We felt really sad. Nos sentimos muy triste. Nos sentimos muy triste. Why didn't you wash your hands? ¿Por qué no te lavaste las manos? Why didn't you wash your hands? They stayed another night. Se quedaron otra noche. So once again, take a moment to pause this and write these examples down. So once again, everyone, these are a list of 11 reflexive verbs that I want you all to practice at home. Practice utilizing these verbs in the past tense. If you don't use it, you lose it. That's just how it works with learning languages. So I want you all to use these examples that I gave you in these lessons. I did this on purpose for a reason. I wanted to do these exercises to show you how you can do exercises at home. So create sentences, create ways of talking for yourself to repeat out loud, make exercises for yourself, and I definitely want you to use the exercise examples that I put here and switch it up with different verbs. So the same exercises that I did in this lesson, I want you all to repeat those same sentences, write these same sentences down, and switch the verbs out with each of these verbs here. Okay, so that's it for today's lesson. I want to thank you all so much. Like always, if you have any questions, do not hesitate to email me. I am here every Saturday. I respond to emails from these lesson programs that I have here on my website. And that's it. Adios. Nos vemos la semana que viene. I'll see you next week.